So, I was planning to skip some bronze episodes for my list, reaction-wise. Especially those who had less, like, voters or supporters from this list of episodes that people like reactions to. But one of the episodes that had the least amount of, like, supporters behind it was the last episode, Uncanny Valley. Despite the fact that there was a lot of information in it that I would have liked to react to on camera, but I did not because I've been misled. I should have known. Any GERTRUDE freaking post statement is gonna contain a giant exposition name drop dump. Of course, I should have known, but no, I didn't. And then I watched it on my own, casually, this afternoon, on a couch, without a camera, and then a bunch of things happened. So many things happened. Like, the story itself was, fine. It wasn't like, I guess nothing big, like, no plot event happened, but we learned so much. And I know, like, leading up to episode, like, 90, I think, 90 and 91, maybe, or is it 92? Like, 90 to 92, maybe, I think. Those are, like, gold and silver episodes, which I basically have to react to on camera, and those are coming up very soon. But I didn't think, like, 3 episodes before, we'd be getting a bunch of information, stuff about the unknowing, stuff about, freaking, what was it, like, the buff, short Asian lady involved in that fire cult with Agnes, what else? The stranger. She name dropped the desolation, which now that I hear that, the more I think I probably heard that before in relation to the Magnus Archives, but also the desolation, which is a cool freaking name. And I had to look up what desolation meant. Like, in my head, I was like, desolation, like a desolate wasteland. Like, and I thought like maybe it had something to do with like something being wiped out and nothing being left behind, like completely abandoned, or that's what I thought when I hear desolate. And I guess the more I thought about fire and desolation, I was like, that's kind of a cool comparison. That's kind of a cool relationship there. Oh my god, why is okay? I'm sorry, I have OCD and anxiety. Okay, so yeah, sitting up straight apparently. No, not sitting up straight. You can see my pillow now. Congrats. Well, you could see it for a little bit before my laptop went back up, but there's a lot of stuff that happened last episode that was talked about, This is so weird because I can see my face delayed on my screen. Bunch of stuff happened. The name was Jude. The lady's name. Her name was name dropped. Fucking the desolation. I already said the desolation stuff. The unknowing. So we know now that that's the stranger's thing. The stranger's like apocalypse ritual, basically. Something about the new world. Something about the desolation as somehow being involved. The cult of the lightless flame or something. Somehow being unexpectedly allied with this weird ritual to change the world or something. She said something about it being in a couple years' time, and I feel like you'll miss the unknown. Yeah, okay. I remember that now. It was the not them that said you'll miss the unknowing, of course. But that makes sense because they know about the unknowing because they're part of the stranger. Okay, so that makes sense. So interesting. We know that something about dancers wearing someone's skin to the dance. And I don't know if it's a spoiler or not because I'm looking at my list of episodes, but one of the episodes in the finale in the finale group of episodes is called The Masquerade. And I was like, when she said dancers, I was like, dancers? Why does the stranger, what does it mean, dancers? Whatever this thing is, why does it mean dancers? and I read the title The Masquerade and I was like, I stand corrected, because just thematically, it struck me as so cool. Okay, I know that's probably a spoiler, and I shouldn't know that episode exists. I haven't read the summary either. I just know the episode title. Okay. It's called The Masquerade, and I just find that cool because it's like dressing up as something. Because the masquerade is dressing up as something that you are not. Like wearing a disguise, and like masquerading is like a verb for like disguising yourself as something else, and like the stranger's whole thing is like people like these things where like mannequins wearing skin suits and all this stuff, like the dress. And in this episode specifically, there was like people dressing up in other people's skin. It's like masquerading. It's a masquerade. Dancers dance. It's like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Masquerades are also pretty ominous when in a horror setting. So you got me there. I'm not. I swear. If this is like awful spoilers and you hate me for this, I'm sorry. But like, I just read a title and then okay, I'm sorry. I read a title and I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool title. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. Stuff's going on this season apparently, but I want to react to Dig. Hi, Dig. A bad time, but...
Are you ready for more freedom from the hassles of glasses and contact lenses? For a limited time, LASIK Plus is offering $1,000 off LASIK when treated in January. That's $500 off per eye. Treatment typically takes just 15 minutes, and most LASIK Plus patients are back to work the next day. So hurry, visit lpoffer.com now. Must mention this promotion and be treated in January of 2022 to qualify. $1,000 off for both eyes on standard wavelength price. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. See details at lpoffer.com.
Hi there, Mike here, voice of Tim Stoker from the Magnus Archives, and I'm here to tell you about this week's sponsor, The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. Praised by acclaimed fantasy writers such as Robin Hobb, Brent Weeks, and Glenn Cook, this darkly humorous fantasy novel is set in a world of goblin wars, stag-sized battle ravens, and deadly magical tattoos. Kinch owes the Takers Guild
as long
a
as you
small
hear me, I
fortune
guess it's
for his
fine
education
enough.
as a thief. Golva is a knight and handmaiden of the goddess of death, searching for her queen who has been missing since a distant northern city fell to giants. Common enemies and uncommon dangers force both thief and knight on a journey where goblins hunger for human flesh, krakens hunt dark waters,
If it's lagging
and honor
like
is a
crazy, who
luxury
cares?
that few can afford. If you're like me
Still see
and you
me?
love Dungeons & Dragons, you'll get the feel of a clever campaign gone darkly and
Okay,
hilariously awry. So why not give it a go? Find The Black Tongue Thief wherever books are sold. Thanks.
I'm tired. It's like Tim Stoker.
Rusty Quill presents the Magnus Archives.
I'll be trying to do stats homework. I forgot that I was trying to do that. Okay. God, I have so much stuff to do. Ah, okay.
Episode 88. Dig.
Modern statement. Sorry.
Huh. You still recording then? What? Well, I thought that was John's thing.
I mean, yeah, a bit. You wanted to see me?
Yeah,
What's
well,
the idea
your
doing?
boss is busy, and I tried talking to Tim, but...
Yeah, right.
And he said Sasha's gone, so I thought I'd talk to you.
Okay, what do you want?
I'm looking for Daisy.
Okay, I don't know where she is. I don't know where anybody is.
Did something happen to her?
Okay, why does everyone think that I always know where everyone is
All right,
all the
okay.
Oh,
time?
it's not
Alright,
Melanie.
sorry,
This
they
is
just-
Basira,
Well, they
isn't
said
it?
at the station that this was the last place she checked in.
When she was interviewing us, that was like a month ago.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so I went to check in with her at the station, and they said she hadn't been in since February.
And no one's looked into that?
I mean, they don't keep a close eye on. Well, she goes off the grid sometimes when working a case. Never this long, though. I thought it might have something to do with, you know.
Look, he didn't kill anyone, okay? I think something's going on, okay? I actually think he was framed.
Hey.
I hope so. If not,
True.
just can't believe I was so stupid, you know? He really got me.
Got you how?
I actually thought I misjudged him. Hell, I liked the guy.
Wait, you mean like you?
No,
actu-
what? Ugh, no.
Why do people
Why
always?
does
Right, yeah, because I don't actually.
I
don't
mean,
think
he was good
would,
company, you know, when he wasn't being a paranoia machine.
Shirley was like,
Funny.
paranoia machine, true.
John,
John,
Yeah.
funny.
I don't think I've ever heard him tell a joke.
Maybe
Well,
you
he's-
weren't listening.
I mean,
I'm sure it all gets sorted out when
he was
Daisy
kind of
brings him in.
sarcastical at times, and that was
Sorry, I
very
forgot
funny.
you're not actually with
And he's
the
also
police anymore, are you?
unintentionally funny sometimes.
So you have no idea where Daisy is.
I'm sure she's fine.
Did
She's
Daisy
probably just using
disappear? All we I know was that
operation
last time
discretion to bully someone
Elias threatened
did you say?
her in a
She was really
scary,
rude,
spooky
actually. She
way.
threatened to
No,
say
no.
that
Did you use the phrase operational discretion?
yeah.
What?
So you have no idea where Daisy is.
I'm sure she's fine. She's probably just using her operation discretion to bully someone else.
What did you say?
Well, she was really rude. Actually.
Oh, she had
threatened
Operation
to-
Discretion
no,
here, and
did
she was
you
trying
use
to
the
cover
phrase
it up.
Operational discretion.
Is that a
Yeah.
key
Said she had full
phrase
operational
in section 31? 41, I don't know,
Is everything
51? I
I
don't
need to
know
find
which
him.
number it
I'm sure
is.
your partner will find him. I just hope she's not as.
No, I need to
nasty.
find him now. You're sure you don't know where she is?
No, I don't know anything.
Ooh, it's
Okay,
Operation
alright,
Discretion
fine.
means she just kills people,
here's
and
my
and,
number.
and and Basira
Call me
knows that.
immediately if you
Basira
find
knows
anything
John's in
out, okay?
danger.
Please, we're really busy.
Yeah, I need to go.
Yeah, good luck.
So Basira knows John's in danger. That's what I'm assuming what's happening right now. She knows that
Let's-
spells death.
Martin Blackwood, archival assistant at the Magnus Institute, recording statement number 003-1104, statement of Enrique Macmillan, given 4th
Enrique
November
Macmillan.
2003.
Macmillan.
Statement begins.
Macmillan.
I never really loved the digging. Too much like hard work, I always used to say, and I'm not a young man anymore. So generally, if the finds aren't near enough the surface for me to just pick them up, I'll leave them be. Sometimes, though, you just can't help yourself. You need to know what's under there. So you get down on your knees and dig, dig, dig. Last Saturday was like that. I hadn't thought it would be, really. My knees had been acting up all week because
I'm
of the
laughing
damp,
at
and I
my
was mainly going out
statistics
for the
homework,
walk
by the
rather
way.
than looking for any particular signs.
I'm sorry.
To be honest, I was in two minds about taking the metal detector at all. It's not exactly a lightweight piece of equipment. Back when I lived in London, I always used to do mudlarking down the Thames, wandering through the low tide with nothing but a bag, my eyes and a pair of thick gloves. I miss those days, without the weight of the detector, without the need to dig. I don't even know why I took it. In the end, that stretch of beach is hardly virgin territory for hobbyists like me, and it's usually been picked perfectly clean. So you can imagine my surprise when I started to pick something up just before Smeaton's Pier. It was almost dark by this point, and the cool salt air of St. Ives Harbour blew a fine spray of sand against my cheeks. It stung slightly, but not in an unpleasant way. Bracing, I think the word is. It was peaceful, quiet, and I was lost in my own thoughts, staring out over the darkening ocean, when the metal detector interrupted, breaking my trance. I pulled out my little torch and shone it at the spot, looking for the telltale glint. But there was nothing but sand. Whatever it was must have been buried. I was debating with myself whether to leave it be when the detector barked again, more insistently. I hadn't found anything else that day, so I sighed, pulled out my small metal spade out of my bag, and started to dig.
When it's metal detector hobbyists on the beach, I guess. I haven't actually seen anyone like that. I don't know.
The face was cracked down the middle, and the hands were frozen at 4:19. But other than that, it seemed to be in rather good condition. Not a bad little find, I remember thinking, as I started to clean the sand from around it and uncover the wrist it was still attached to. I think I
really start thinking about.
I must have cried out in some way, but nobody heard me.
There was
a hand to hear but me.
Well, dead person. I should really start thinking about like what entity these stories are connected to, instead of just being like, ooh, spooky horror story, and then give me that plot.
I lowered myself slowly to the ground,
and thinking, how are they connected?
Considering the thing I had just discovered with my clumsy, reckless digging. I wanted to call the police immediately, but I don't have a mobile phone, and it was a little bit of a walk to the nearest phone box. My legs wouldn't stop shaking when I tried to stand up, so I sat there for a while, my torch shining on that lifeless hand, trying to compose myself enough to go get help. It was an odd thing, that hand. The fingers were bent and bloody, and the nails had been chipped and broken. From the looks of it, the damage had happened before its owner had passed away. Then I noticed something else in the sand next to it. Something protruding, ever so slightly, from the sand I'd already disturbed. It didn't seem to be part of the body, and I found myself reaching over to try and pull it up. It slipped out of the sand easily, eagerly even, and I didn't even need to dig. It was a book. The cloth of the cover had worn away, and it was still wet from the sea water that covered the area at high tide. I expected it to be a useless lump of wet paper mush, fused together and unreadable, but when I pulled it open, the pages came apart easily. There was a label at the very front, but the ink had run, and I have no idea what it might have said. So I turned to the first page. It was very strange. It was just the one word, solid capital letters in a small, neat typeface at the very center of the page. It said, dig. I took that to be the title and turned to the next page. Dig. Exactly the same. The third page, dig. The fourth page, dig.
What is this Mr. Spider type shit?
Dig.
Oh my god.
Dig. Holding it hurt my hands. You know the way that if you say or read a word over and over again, it starts to lose all its meaning?
This doesn't seem like not a word.
A jumble of noises or unrelated letters.
True.
Well, this was the opposite.
Oh?
Every time I read it, it was like the meaning of the word became more solid in my mind. I knew what it was to find your meaning buried in the earth, to claw your sense from under the sand and mud and soil to dig. I had almost completely unearthed the body when the police arrived. Apparently, a late-night jogger had spotted the scene and called them. They believed me when I explained to them how I had found it, though they were none too pleased that I had so thoroughly ruined what may well have been a crime scene.
Wow.
I don't think it was, and one of the friendlier officers later told me that the man had probably dug himself too deep a hole in the beach, and it had collapsed on him when the tide had come in. A tragedy,
Really?
but not unheard of.
That's not unheard of.
With me, though,
okay.
And once they had my statement, I was sent on my way.
Pretty common, digging a hole and falling in it and dying.
Inside, so
I don't know.
I kept it. I probably should have mentioned it to the police, but they were very
Books.
rude. I understand now, of course, that they were simply irritated that I had robbed them of their opportunity to dig. Perhaps
okay,
they
then.
sensed it. That need inside of us. Above us, you see, there's only the sky, the infinite, a void of space and emptiness, so incredible that to think of it in detail is to overwhelm the mind. But down into the earth, through the many layers of this globe, this sphere built and crusted upon a single beating point. The center of the universe for each and every one of us, that glorious convergence from which everything, everywhere, is up. And to reach it, to approach that source, that rolling, molten center of it all, the only thing you have to do is dig.
To the center of the earth.
I've dreamed of it, of course. Safe and happy below, wrapped on all sides by uncounted miles of crushing, loving earth and stone. I see it and watch the passing of
this reminds me of the, I guess, the underground
layer.
episode, the subway. Or the train. I don't know what they call it in the UK. The train episode where they were just started being surrounded by dirt and dirt and dirt and dirt. And then the earth was pressing around them.
Barely think of without collapsing in fear. 1,000 terrible things trapped and alone, out of air and out of light, all contained within those 3 hideous letters. Dig.
Okay,
I hold a spade. It screams when I plunge it into the weeping soil, and the voice it cries out with is my own. The soft mud begs me to stop, trying in vain to save me, but I do not listen. And the pitted ruin of my shovel moves lump after lump of it, tearing it free of itself and piling it around me, sculpting my own grave.
Okay,
bringing
then.
the ground up to meet me where I must be buried. It fills my lungs, and I am free. I am awake. The shovel is in my hand, and the book is open to its chapter and verse. Dig. In the moments without the shovel, without the torn ground, I have tried to find out more about the book. Maybe even get rid of it. A bookseller I asked about it pointed me towards you and yours before I dug into him, and so here I came. To tell my story, of course.
Excuse me? Can I hear that again?
As well.
Can I get a rewind on that?
And get rid of it. A bookseller I asked about it pointed me towards you and yours before I dug into him, and so here
into him? You dug into...
To tell my story, of
not
course,
it, but him?
Another thing as well.
Okay.
Empty and calling. There's something here, you see. Something to be dug up, rooted out, buried within. A hollow space that all eyes point towards. And I intend to reach it, if my fingers don't give out first. I know where to dig.
Where's the...
The statement ends rather abruptly there.
Martin
Based on a few
comes back
and,
into himself, his spirit returns.
It sounds like Mr. McMillan got in a bit of a fight, which led to his arrest.
That spooked me, like that weird switch, because there was no statement ends.
There's still a couple of boards with marks
Where's
on them that I
Jonathan?
always hoped weren't fingernail scratches, but I guess.
Wait, what?
His arrest. and the replacement of quite a bit of the floor in John's office. There are still a couple of... Based on a few scattered notes and accounts from some of the older staff, it sounds like Mr. McMillan got in a bit of a fight, which led to his arrest, and the replacement of quite a bit of the floor in John's office. There are still a couple of boards with marks on them that I'd always hoped weren't fingernail scratches, but I guess.
Okay then.
Anyway, Mr. McMillan passed away whilst awaiting trial. Official cause of death is listed as asphyxiation, but I can't find any details about exactly what happened. The book is currently held by artifact storage in a welded iron box and placed on the top of the do not access list. But since then, it doesn't look like it's caused anything weird to happen.
Oh, hi.
Yes?
Hi, have you got a moment?
Yeah, I think.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Sorry, just a lot of change recently. You know, you and John and
Not
Sasha
liking change.
Everything's
I get that, man. I like characters who don't like change. They're very relatably concerned.
I mean, John's still alive. Not sure why, but I'm sure of that. But Sasha,
Yes, it's probably...
Sorry. What do you need?
She knows now.
Right, yes. Is there any sort of database, maybe? Statement givers or people referenced? I'm trying to get hold of a witness from a recent one.
Yeah, I wish. That would make the job a lot easier.
No one's even tried to make one.
Oh, you weren't here when we took the place over from Gertrude. I mean, it's been over a year just to get it like this. I mean, I think the database was on John's list, but...
So how do you track someone down?
Oh, well, you know, we've got a few contacts in various record offices around the place. Aside from that, it's just a bit of detective work, really. Tim used to do a great line in impersonating people to utility companies. Oh, the number of times he got them to, you know, give him his own address and...
Right. This one, the name is Jude Perry. Doesn't mean anything to you, does it?
That's the buff Asian lady, right? The short one? She's Asian, right? Well, I'm pretty sure she was Asian. I feel like I remember that. Because she was short, and I was like, yeah, that sounds correct.
Oh, one other thing. Who do I talk to about artifact storage?
Oh, depends what you need. Probably Sonia? Why? Are you sure you're ready for it?
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I just, you know, there's quite a lot of weird
I'm not an amateur, Martin.
No,
amateur.
I know the sort of thing that's in there. I just need to know who I talk to about missing pieces.
Yeah, probably Sonia.
What's John having her do?
What's gone missing?
An old Calliope organ. It's there in the inventory, but no one can find it when I ask.
Huh.
No one can find it?
That's not great. Did you need it for something?
Just following up a statement. Trying to get a few answers, you know?
Huh. Well, if you find any, let me know.
Excuse me? Who took the Calliope? I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Calliope.
The Magnus Archives.
Okay, that took way too long to end.
By Rusty Quill.
Okay, I probably have to sleep soon. But dang, I wish I recorded my reaction to the last episode. It's not like this episode was bad. It wasn't bad. None of the episodes of the Magnus Archives have been bad, like, ever. But, like, this one, like, there was less reaction material than the last one, where I could have talked for ages about my, like, reactions to the whole, like, Gertrude post-statement thing. Well, she just name-dropped many important things. But I was like, John, what are you sending her to do now? What have you sent Melanie to do? And then she said, Calliope. I thought it was Calliope too. I was on Team John there. Calliope, not Calliope, but Calliope. I swear I've read that before, the word Calliope, and I've read it as Calliope. But apparently, in honor of Sasha, I guess we'll go in with Calliope. First line too. That was like the first interruption of anyone. Dang, I can't believe I didn't realize that the two statements that were burned or stolen or went missing was Sasha's voice. because I looked on Reddit, I started looking at old, like, discussion threads, also of, like, old episodes to see how people were reacting when they were watching these blind when they were coming out. And everyone was crazy with theories. Like, they went insane. They were, like, going super in depth with everything. They were looking far too into things, more than I ever have. Like, cause I was aware of the presence of entities. Like, I knew those, like, some, like, there were big names behind the things going on in the Magnus Archives, because, like, I don't know, like I scrolled too far down on the wiki once, and and I clicked on a character's bio once, and then I like went on the Reddit once. It's just three mistakes that I made. Like, you can't scroll anywhere or go on any platform. Like, even the ways I initially heard about the Magnus Archives, they talked about these big bads. Not like big bads, but like big entities. But I didn't know they were called entities. But like, they talked about, like, this, like, I heard about the spiral. I already told you about this. I heard these names of these things. And the more as time went on, the more I realized there was like big things behind these things. But, like, apparently on the Reddit, people were, like, theorizing about these things, like, all the way back when, like, all the way back, like, before the season 2 finale. Like, they were going on about, they were, like, there was, like, so much shit. They were, like, because, like, I was looking at the season 2, like after the season 2 finale, like, what people were saying, and I expected people being like, oh my god. There were a bunch of people going like, oh my god, but there were also people going like, okay, so we now know that this thing is called the Stranger, and now we know that this thing is called the Spiral. Now we still don't know and like they were talking about all the things that invaded Jürgen Leitner's library, and they're like, we don't know what the meat thing is kind of obvious. We already knew about the meat thing. And it was like, I wonder what the hole in the ground is. I wonder what the bloobity bloob. It says reconnection successful, but is it working? Okay, let's see. Is it still going? Let's see. I want to know that my stream is still going. Okay, it's weekend. Okay, there's not actually a gap. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap, but it's fine. Okay, so back to this. What was I saying? My stream disconnected for a bit. What was I saying? Wow, what was the last thing that we probably heard? I was talking about how it's probably actually the same thing as the subway thing. I'm wondering if this being has something to do with like there's a lot of things I think that have to do with claustrophobia. Because but especially the underground stuff. I said the subway episode and this episode did. It's the idea, it's the idea of pressing claustrophobia, or like just being deep in the earth, in the core. I don't know. But like, we know that in Jürgen Leitner's library there was a hole, someone got swallowed into the floor. And I was like, what? I was like, huh? I was like, that one I didn't know. There was the meat guy, there was this dude with like made out of knives or something. There was like a hand from the ceiling. Like all of those, like, even though I couldn't place them, they sounded very familiar, especially the meat person, because there's a lot of freaking meat in this freaking show. But like the hole in the floor surprised me, and I was like, what's this hole in the floor? And it's like, but yeah, everyone was like naming things, and people like were like naming like we know there's 13 entities because there's 13 doors in Michael's hallway, and also there's also and they were trying to like group them, and they were like, they all had a bunch of names for their own I'm pretty sure there was a name too that I found ridiculous. Like I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not the name of that thing, but it's a funny name that you've come up with. Like, people are insane. Like, they were thinking about, like, they already had entities before entities like were even ever named, and I'm like, excuse me, how do they know about this? Like, they like came up with it on their own. All these theorists. I'm so glad I didn't look at these beforehand. Even though it wouldn't be spoilers, it would actually be people speculating in real time because these are old posts. But still, I was like, I want to very naturally freak out about these on my own without any knowledge of anything. But this is, what was I saying? Shit, I should talk more about the Calliope. For Sasha. Okay. Fuck. Because John definitely heard. What happens to people who hear the Calliope again? They get turned into a doll. Or they get the jaw ripped off? I don't fucking know. Clown doll. But yeah, John heard the Calliope, and maybe that may connect the circus with the stranger, which that makes sense because the stranger has all this fake stuff like mannequins and like fake people, and the circus had like that, like what the incomplete tiger, and they're like, the tiger isn't finished yet. It had like the fake tiger. And just like the strangers probably related to all the taxidermy stuff, those people wearing skin and all that. So, So, that's interesting. Oh, so yeah, thinking about how the circus was probably connected to the stranger already. But Calliope. Who the fuck took the Calliope? Or how could they take the Calliope? Or is it just this something's connected to the Calliope and it just teleported it away? The hell? Because we knew it was the moment the episode the Calliope was introduced, we were told that it was in the artifact storage, and now it's just gone. Excuse me, no wonder Melanie's gonna come back to John and be like, by the way, the Calliope's just gone. And then John's gonna be like, oh, that I guess that explains it. I guess I'm not going crazy. I guess I'm just dead. Interesting. What do I do now? Calliope. She's trying to find that short buff Asian lady, the one that was like bye bye to that one guy in the Uncanny Valley episode. And the one who was in the room during Agnes's combustion. And part of the, what's it called? The is it, I don't know if is it church? I don't know, a group, a cult of the lightless flame, which apparently is the desolation. Which is a cool name. I like how it connects like fire to like desolation, because when I think of desolation, I actually feel, I guess in connotation, it just feels cold for some reason to me. And when I think of fire, I think of like life and like energy. But when I think of desolation, I think of like cold and like nothingness, like, or like blankness, lack of energy. But like when you think of fire in the way that it's like what it's like probably connected to in the show, like as in like how fire consumes completely and leaves nothing behind. That's a good connection to desolation. It's like they're connecting a cool naming concept with another concept that like you would never think would go together, but the more you think about it, the more clever it is, because it's like such a unique like connection. It's cool. I love Jonathan Sims, writer Jonathan Sims. What should I call him? Johnny Sims. Johnny Sims. I love Johnny Sims. He's a great writer. Okay, bye. It's midnight. It's past midnight. I'm so tired.